Between 1967 and 1970, America produced four cars that still scare insurance companies. One crashed 307 times on TV, and people paid to see it. One deliberately underrated the car by 150 horsepower to scare buyers away. One had exactly 666 Hemis cars built, and only 7 convertibles survived. One never made it out of the factory, the Eleanor, but thousands of people tried to buy it and went bankrupt. Total production of all four, less than 150,000. Total money spent on them in the last decade, more than $2 billion. Subscribe to the channel and I'll start. Imagine stepping back to the late 1960s when American automakers were locked in a fierce battle to define the muscle car era. The 1969 Dodge Charger emerged as a standout, blending raw power with a design that still turns heads today. But what made this car more than just another V8 powerhouse? Let's explore its story, grounded in the engineering and cultural shifts of the time, and uncover why it continues to spark debates among enthusiasts. The Charger traces its roots to 1966, when Dodge introduced it as a mid-size specialty car on the Chrysler B platform, aiming to rival the Ford Mustang and Plymouth Barracuda. By 1969, it had evolved into a two-door hardtop with distinctive Coke bottle styling, those sweeping curves that gave it an aggressive aerodynamic look. Measuring 208 inches long on a 117-inch wheelbase, it was wider at 76.7 inches, providing a stable footprint for high-speed pursuits. Hidden headlights added a sleek touch, operated by vacuum in earlier models, but refined for reliability. Under the hood, Dodge offered a range of engines to suit different drivers. The base was a 383 cubic inch V8 with a 2-barrel carburetor, delivering 290 horsepower. Step up to the 4-barrel version, unique to the Charger, and you got 330 horsepower, thanks to a Carter AVS carburetor, larger exhaust manifolds, and tuned camshaft. For serious performance, the 440 cubic inch Magnum V8 pushed 375 horsepower, while the optional 426 Hemi V8 topped out at 425 horsepower. These engines, painted in Chrysler turquoise or high-performance orange, paired with transmissions like the A727 3-speed automatic or A833 4-speed manual. Performance? The Hemi could propel the 3,800-pound car from 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds, though real-world tests varied with road conditions and driver skill. In racing, the Charger shone in NASCAR, leading to aerodynamic variants like the Charger 500 with a flush rear window to cut drag. Production reached about 89,199 units in 1969. Making it accessible but not overly common today. Yet its true legacy lies in pop culture. Enter the General Lee, the orange-painted Charger from the TV series The Dukes of Hazzard, 1979 to 1985. With doors welded shut, 01 on the sides, and a Confederate flag on the roof, it performed iconic jumps. Over 300 Chargers were used and often destroyed during filming. This boosted the model's visibility, but it also stirred controversy. The flag, once a symbol of Southern heritage in the show, is now widely criticized for its ties to racism and slavery, prompting modern replicas to often omit it. Beyond the screen, lesser-known aspects reveal the Charger's engineering quirks. For instance, the 330-horsepower 383 engine lacked a windage tray found in other versions, which helped reduce oil foaming but made it slightly less durable in extreme conditions. Another fact, Dodge experimented with NASCAR aerodynamics that influenced street models, like the optional rear spoiler that actually improved stability at highway speeds. And did you ever wonder about its paint? Factory colors included vibrant options, but the General Lee's bright orange wasn't standard. It was a custom tangerine shade mixed for the show. Today, a well-preserved 1969 Charger can fetch $78,750 at auction, with originals in top condition reaching higher. Replicas of the General Lee sell for around $50,000, appealing to fans who recreate the jumps, Safely, one hopes. But owning one raises questions. How do we reconcile a car's mechanical brilliance with its cultural baggage? As emissions regulations killed off big V8s in the 1970s, the Charger transitioned to luxury models, leaving the 1969 as a pinnacle of unbridled power. What if you could drive one today? Picture the rumble of that Hemi as you cruise. It's not just transportation, it's a time machine to an era of automotive freedom. Stick around, because next we'll dive into how this icon compares to its rivals and maybe even share a restoration tip or two that could save you thousands. The 1969 Chevrolet Camaro represents the swan song of the first-generation pony car, a machine born from Chevrolet's urgent response to the Ford Mustang's dominance. Introduced in 1966, it shared the GM F-body platform with the Pontiac Firebird, but by 1969, production delays extended the model year into November. What secrets does this extended run hold, and why does it still command respect in collector circles? Let's break it down fact by fact, from assembly lines to hidden performance gems. Built in plants across the U.S. and even overseas in places like Belgium and the Philippines, the Camaro was a global effort. It came as a two-door hardtop or convertible with a 108-inch wheelbase and dimensions stretching to 186 inches long and 74 inches wide. The subframe/semi-unibody design borrowed from the Chevy 2 Nova provided a solid base, weighing in at around 3,000 pounds depending on options. Engine choices were vast, starting with a 230 cubic inch straight six at 140 horsepower. V8s dominated though. The 302 cubic inch in the Z-28 package delivered 290 horsepower, often underrated for insurance reasons, while the 350 cubic inch SS350 hit 395 horsepower. Big block fans could opt for the 396 cubic inch L78 at 375 horsepower. But the rarities stole the show. The CPO 9560 ZL1 with an all-aluminum 427 cubic inch V8 rated at 430 horsepower but capable of more, or the iron block L72 at 425 horsepower. These were hand-assembled in clean rooms for drag racing. Transmissions included 3- or 4-speed manuals and automatics like the Turbo Hydromatic. Performance varied wildly. A Z-28 could hit 0 to 60 in about 6.8 seconds, thanks to its high-revving engine, power disc brakes, and 15-inch rally wheels. The SS package added chassis upgrades and striping, while the RS focused on aesthetics with hidden headlights and bright trim. Optional four-wheel disc brakes, only 206 produced, improved stopping power, aiding Trans Am racing wins. Variants like the Z-28 were homologation specials for SCCA racing, with no convertibles officially made, except one rare 1968 CPO unit. Yenko Camaros, dealer modified with 427 engines, numbered just 201. Production totaled 243,085 for 1969, with 20,302 Z-28s and 69 ZL1s, making the latter ultra-rare. Culturally, the Camaro symbolized the muscle car peak, pacing the 1969 Indianapolis 500 with a special RS-SS convertible. Lesser-known facts add intrigue. Power ratings were deliberately low to skirt insurance hikes. The 302 was closer to 350 horsepower in reality. Swiss-assembled models had a unique 283 V8 with front discs standard. And the Z-28 code? It started as an internal RPO for race-ready dealers, not advertised publicly. In today's market, a Z-28 can sell for $589,900 on average, with top examples exceeding $1 million at auctions. Why the premium? Rarity and racing pedigree. But consider this: many survived barn finds, untouched for decades, raising questions about preservation versus restoration. Does modifying one dilute its history? Driving a 1969 Camaro today feels like harnessing controlled chaos. The stiff suspension bites into corners, but the power demands respect. Ever pondered how underrating engines shaped the era's regulations? We'll explore that next, along with tips on spotting a genuine Z-28 amid fakes. As the muscle car wars heated up in 1970, Plymouth redefined the Barracuda, dropping its Valiant roots for the dedicated E-body platform shared with the Dodge Challenger. This third-generation Cuda wasn't just a refresh, it was a bolder, wider statement of performance amid looming emissions crackdowns. But what engineering choices set it apart, and how did they foreshadow the end of an era? Let's dissect the facts that make this car a collector's enigma. Debuting with a 108-inch wheelbase, the Cuda measured 186.6 inches long and 74.9 inches wide, weighing about 3,395 pounds. Available as a hardtop coupe or convertible, it featured aggressive styling by John E. Hurlitz, including shaker hoods and bold colors like limelight or panther pink. Engines ranged from the 225 cubic inch Slant 6 at 145 horsepower to V8s like the 340 cubic inch at 275 horsepower. High-performance options included the 383 cubic inch at 335 horsepower, 440 cubic inch at 375 to 390 horsepower, and the legendary 426 Hemi at 425 horsepower. The Hemi Cuda, available 1970 to 1971, added $1,228 to the price, with torque up to 490 pound-feet. Transmissions: 3- or 4-speed manuals or torque-flight automatic. Performance was brutal. The Hemi could quarter-mile in the mid-13s stock, with upgrades like Dana 60 axles enhancing durability. The AAR Cuda, a Trans Am homologation special, used a 346-barrel engine at 290 horsepower, fiberglass parts for weight savings, and raced by all-American racers, earning poles but no wins. Production: 48,867 in 1970. With rare Hemi convertibles, just 13 in 1971. The Cuda symbolized peak muscle, but sales plummeted post-1970 due to fuel crises and regulations. Lesser known, early Barracudas had the largest production rear window, 14.4 square feet. About 50 1968 fastbacks got Hemis for drag racing, not street legal. South African exports featured a Charger Power Slant 6. Convertibles appeared in shows like the Brady Bunch. Values soar. A 1971 Hemi convertible hit $3.5 million, averages around $234,000 for Hemis. Why? Low survival rates and nostalgia. But ponder, did the oil crisis save us from even wilder cars or kill innovation? Owning one today? It's a thrill. But maintenance on that Hemi is no joke. Next, we'll compare it to contemporaries and reveal authentication tricks. In 1967, Carroll Shelby expanded his Mustang modifications, introducing the GT500 alongside the GT350. Assembled in Los Angeles, it transformed Ford's pony car into a big block beast. But how did Shelby's tweaks create a legend, and what role did Hollywood play? Let's trace the facts from prototypes to modern replicas and question its enduring appeal. Based on the Mustang Fastback, the GT500 had 108-inch wheelbase and 181.6-inch length, weighing 3,241 pounds. Fiberglass components, hood, scoops, tail panel, lightened it, with styling like sequential taillights and Cobra badges from 1968. The star? A 428 cubic inch Police Interceptor V8 with dual Holley carburetors, producing 355 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. A rare 427 prototype hit 650 horsepower. Transmissions: 4-speed manual or 3-speed automatic. Performance: 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. Top speed: 140 miles per hour, with disc brakes and tuned suspension outperforming standard Mustangs. Culturally, it won SCCA races, but fame exploded with Gone in 60 Seconds 2000, where Eleanor, a customized gray GT500 with blue stripes, became iconic, despite film versions differing from originals. Production: 2,048 units. Lesser known, the Super Snake prototype sold for $1.3 million. Hertz Rentals lost racing parts. Few had the 427 engine. Averages $187,020 at auction, with tops at $440,000. Differences from Mustang: big block V8, fiberglass body, upgraded brakes. Replicas abound, but controversies include VIN issues and Shelby's reduced input post-1967. Was Eleanor a blessing or curse for authenticity? Driving one, the torque surge is addictive. Stay tuned for restoration insights and rival comparisons.